So, last time we did a Jump Inside Extras, we looked back at Season 1 of Doctor Who. Now Season 2 is out, Episode 1, and I thought I'd take a look into this one, and to give you my thoughts and feels, because, you know, I agree with what I said last time, and I'm probably going to agree with what I say this time. So without no further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so just a quick warning, there are going to be spoilers in this episode, so if you haven't seen it, then press pause on the video and then go watch it now and then come back here afterwards, okay? You good? Right, let's get into it. This episode puts you into space within 6 minutes, and you know what, I feel like this could have been an Earth episode. I'll be completely honest, I don't mind a space episode, but normally I like that on an episode 2 or something. Putting it as an Earth episode would be miles better. Then the companion can have this day-to-day lives parallel with every other human on the planet, and then the Doctor randomly shows up and he just randomly gets put in front and introduced to this particular companion, and then the Doctor can be like, oh no, don't be part of my world and all that kind of stuff. I like that type of feel for an episode. And then the companion just keeps pursuing it because they want discovery, and then eventually they become companions. And I kind of like that. I like that feel for episodes. This one doesn't do that. It puts you into space straight away, so immediately they get no choice. There's nothing. They are immediately thrown into outer space. Just that's it. And I hate it when episodes have plot holes and plot points that don't get explained or are confusing or just don't make sense. This episode actually did make sense. There was one bit in the middle about the certificate that I found a bit tricky to understand. But basically, in the future, the robots get the certificate and then they bring it back to the planet. But as they bring it back to the planet, it goes to the past. In fact, it goes 5,000 years in the past, which becomes a foundation and a myth. So it's not a dupe certificate, or there's not two of them. It's the same certificate in the same timeline twice. And that's the ability there. If that doesn't make sense, well, I don't know whether they should put that as a plot point in the first episode, but, you know, it is quite complex to wrap your head around that for maybe a new Whovian. But, at this stage, you know, that's what we have for an episode, and that's how the certificate works. But technically it makes sense. It also explains how the Doctor knew about Belinda. The Doctor was told about Belinda from someone, and that she was going to be important. It doesn't explain who that someone is, but because he talked about timelines, it is presumed that the Doctor told himself, so he crossed his own timeline, so there could be an episode in the future that explains how that works. You know, so for an episode in total, there are no major plot holes that I feel like that needed to be explained further than they actually did. It's also a first episode, and for Belinda, she is asking all the right questions for the audience, and the Doctor is answering them all. So we do get a bit of introduction. Even if it's for a new audience, we do get a bit more information about who the Doctor is, and, you know, and a bit more information about him. Which is important, I think, if you're a new audience or you're a continuing audience that was a new audience from Season 1. I think Belinda is going to be a great companion to do a lot of explaining and a lot of telling and a lot of information about who the Doctor is. There was even an action scene in the middle of this episode, which I quite liked, especially with guns and going off and all like that. I think the ending was a little bit boring. I think there needs to be a gap between the certificate and the final, because they kind of explain the certificate should never cross its own path, and then we get this final interaction with Belinda and this character who's the bad guy, and I think I saw from a mile away that certificate was going to be a plot device for the ending there somehow, and I think we all knew that as well, so it wasn't really a surprise or a really da-da-da-dun moment, but, you know, it is a first episode. I wonder if we're going to get more of those later on. So I think this episode is a pretty strong start for this series. Now, I have heard a lot of complaints going up on the internet saying that this is possibly one of the worst performing figures for the beginning of a season. And you know, here in the UK we do have a thing called BBC iPlayer. They released this episode at 8 AM, and to me the only question that I have, why on earth would I wait around for the evening of 7 PM when I could watch it at any point throughout the Saturday after 8 AM? I mean, honestly, if you're gonna release an episode at 8 AM, I'm gonna watch it if it's on some type of streaming service. Now, I know that not everyone has access to a streaming service, and they are only terrestrial locations where they can only have access to TV or something like that, or they don't want to use iPlayer or something, and they want to watch it as a family and sit down, and, you know, that's fine, that's okay, you know, do that. But, like, there are a lot of us out there that go like, oh, Doctor Who's out, let's watch it right now, and, you know, and you've got access to BBC iPlayer, so you just go straight there and you watch the episode. That, for me, is what I feel like most people are doing. Why would you want to wait till I don't know, 7 PM when you could watch it at 8 AM? Also, there's a lot of stuff on around 7 PM on ITV, which is another channel we have in the UK, which also airs, I think Britain's Got Talent airs at 7 PM. So there is kind of that battle of what do families want to watch, Britain's Got Talent or Doctor Who. So, you know, 7 PM around this time of the year is quite a hectic point. You know what, simple solution, why not release it on TV in the morning time instead? You don't have anything to compete against, and it would be Saturday mornings. And do you know what, I used to watch cartoons on a Saturday morning when I was a kid. You know, I don't think it would be much of an issue to watch it on a Saturday morning. There's nothing else going on, so yeah, release it on Saturday morning on TV, and then afterwards release it on iPlayer afterwards for the rest of the world and all that kind of stuff. You know, so honestly, I just think you're hurting your own viewing figures if you're releasing it on TV after it's been on iPlayer. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know where it stands with that, but there we go. Overall, I think it's a very good start for a series. We'll see how it continues, whether it stays strong, whether it gets stronger, or whether it's just completely weak, and that was the only good, decent episode, and it goes downhill from here. We'll find out as the series continues. I will see you guys on another Jump Inside episode very soon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. Hey, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, then please don't forget to consider to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on another Jump Inside video. Goodbye.